Morning.
Good morning, my friend.
Welcome to the show. This is the Foolish Tech Show. Well, good Monday morning to everybody out there. How's it going?
Pretty good. Here.
Anyone's out there watching on YouTube or G+, you can join the chat at www.foolishtechshow.com or foolishit.com/live. Ask us some questions, go over some things, what have you.
Mm-hmm. And have you what?
And do you have anything you wanted to go over today, Nick?
Nope. Because howdy.
Well, there's a couple of tickets that wanted us to go over some video stuff, so I guess we'll go over that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's do that.
And one of them was asking how to use D7.2 to find out what is causing a system to hang. And another one was to go over dUninstaller.
Okay, cool.
So we can do that here once I get everything set up here.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Your microphone's still on your desk, not your headset.
Uh-oh. I hear my keys.
Yeah, well, no, every time you touch the desk, it makes a big rumbling.
That's
so.
my keys. I'm not touching the desk. That's why I said you hear my keys.
Alright, so... So if you are using the D7.2, we'll go over the how to determine if something is causing a system to hang. It's kind of a little bit hard to like show you without actually having something causing the system to hang. But there is a tool if you're using the downloads and the DMZ, which everyone has access to since everyone with Starter Access Plus has access to the downloads. The custom apps or the pre-configured version has this program, WhatIsHang, and that is a NirSoft program, which I'll go ahead and paste the link in the chat here. And essentially what you would do is you would start this program and just let it run until the system hangs. It depends on what's causing your system to hang if you're going to be able to even use this program or not, but hopefully it's a problem where you can get this program started and then have the system hang. And if that's the case, then it would show up here and then you would get a whole lot of information about it and you could work with it more from there. So at least you would have a program process name that you could tie this to. You would get the path so that you'd be able to figure out what program is causing things to hang. Obviously the best choice if you're having an issue with hanging and you can't do anything in normal Windows, like as soon as you log in you can't do anything, but if that's the case, you're not even going to be able to get to D7.2, so there's not a lot that the tool can do from that point. But you can always reboot into safe mode with networking, see if the problem still happens there. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen there. And if that's the case, from rebooting with to safe mode with networking, you can take the WhatIsHang app and set it in your startup. So either in your startup folder here, or you can start it in the registry. And that would be under Microsoft, Windows, current version, run. So you would just create a new reg string and point it to the WhatIsHang path. And it'd be something like wherever the path to your third-party tools is, WhatIsHang folder. So you copy that in, /whatishang.exe, and OK. Then every time the system starts up, it will start this program. So that'll start off first, and that'll give you a little bit more information about what's hanging. Otherwise, a lot of causes of your hang-ups are probably going to be from malware and virus type things. So another way you could use D72 to see if you can figure out what's causing the problem is using the offline mode section. So essentially, if you start up from a Windows PE CD, or if you attach the hard drive, the culprit hard drive, to another system, you can use the offline operations, and you'll select the partition that has the offline windows. You can do your virus scans and some tools here. Plus, you can trying to think of something else that might cause it that you can do from here. That is about it. So you would be able to at least enable the blue screen if it's blue screening. You could edit the registry if that's going to help any. I was hoping that we could look at the event log, but cannot do that from here. Do you know an event log reader that can be read offline, Nick? Because that would be another good way to see if figure out what's causing something to hang, possibly.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't know how that would be possible.
So, but basically, the best thing you can do is probably run your malware scans offline. Then you can at least see what's starting up with auto runs. If it's a Vista Plus system, you can inspect things of an offline system or analyze an offline system and see what's starting up there. Then you can use that to either go through the registry and disable those things, or go to the file system and remove those files or back them up to a place that isn't going to be starting up. Important to note that you can't use auto runs to actually make any changes on an offline system. It's only for analyzing. So that's a few things you can do to figure out what's causing a system to hang. Like I said, a lot of the times it's going to be malware or spyware or just a program that's not acting right. And usually with these tools on the offline side, you can find it out if you're not able to start up into normal Windows and get WhatIsHang running. Because that is a good program that'll show you what's causing the system to hang at that time, or at least give you some stuff to start tracking down. So that's that first question. And looks like we got a user in IRC comp correct. Good morning to you there. But the other question we had was dUninstaller, and we'll go over that one here. So you have two options for dUninstaller. You can use the auto, which just goes through what you have blacklisted on the uninstallers and will uninstall everything, or you can use the UI itself. And we'll go ahead and launch up the UI. Now, this is for the dUninstaller that's built into D7.2. I'll show you the standalone dUninstaller after this. And basically, it's a fairly simple program. When you get dUninstaller launched, it shows you all the things that are in the add removed programs, and you can check them to uninstall. When you have them all checked that you want to uninstall, you hit uninstall now, and it'll try to go through and uninstall each of the programs. There are some issues if the uninstaller for that program doesn't work, or if it wouldn't work through add remove. It's not going to be able to be uninstalled with dUninstaller through that normal method. But any uninstallations that can be automated, this will do it that way. The next thing you can have is apps that are on a uninstall blacklist. And basically, if any of them matched here, they would show up here, and you can uninstall them all quickly with just the press of the button. But here we have our definitions. So these are just some programs that you might want to automatically uninstall. They do use wildcard, so if you just wanted anything that was related to Amazon to uninstall, you can just put a star there and even a star in front of it, so anything that has Amazon will uninstall. But it will actually be matching these definitions. So that's where you would get your installed app matches blacklisting, or if you use the dUninstaller auto, it would match the blacklisting and then automatically remove it. You do want to be a little bit careful using these wildcard searches, especially because it will sometimes cause issues. So like, you don't want to just put in a capital A, because anything with an A on it would match your uninstall list and then be removed. So that doesn't work out the best there. You don't have to be so specific with these unless you want just a specific version to be removed. You could just have FDD show and then all versions of it will remove. Like you see, some of these have version numbers in them. You don't really need those if you want all the versions to uninstall, but it is helpful to limit it down more if it is a specific version of it that you want to make sure you uninstall. So same thing with the whitelist. You don't need to put a whole thing in there. So like, if you want to always leave all the Javas and never want to uninstall them, you can have them whitelisted like this, Firefox, Chrome, or something like that. You can leave it so that it never gets uninstalled. And you don't actually have to put the asterisks there. It's a wildcard search in general, so everything that's on this line will be matched there. You do have a few other options here with the registry and file system. You can list specific things to get removed if they exist. It works for both values and places. Here you have certain ones listed, and you can do the same with the start mode. And CompCorrect had something in here. CompCorrect said he's been watching the previous videos. Awesome. Trying to catch up on things he missed. Nick mentioned not having or being in contact with someone who uses Repair Shopper. And CompCorrect uses it plenty and has plenty of data populated, and he said he would love to help if he could be of assistance. So, Nick, that was aimed at you, and you're muted right now.
Awesome.
Awesome. If you want to send an email to foolishtech@foolishit.com and just let us know there, then we can contact you directly and work out some more from there when we get to a point where we work with some of the repair shopper stuff. Awesome. So that was the D72 dUninstaller. We'll check out the standalone dUninstaller here as well. And essentially it's going to be the same thing, but you do have a little bit more here with your options. You can add a few options here and have it email you if there were problems with uninstalling an app. Is that correct, Nick? Or is this just email all the results?
Yeah, that's just a log file of everything that happened.
Okay, so this will just email you a log of everything that happened with the install. The other
That's
thing
actually useful for I guess remote techs and stuff, but it's also useful if you use the command line parameters and set up scheduling with that.
And that was what I was about
to
to
the task scheduler. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No worries. I was going to say, if you have it registered, you can also use the command line parameters for this, so you can just have it scripted, and then that would be where you'd probably want to have the results emailed to you because you wouldn't be looking at the screen there. So, but basically, otherwise, the program is essentially the same. This one shows more in the current list because I had stuff in my other one whitelisted, so those weren't showing up there. This one doesn't have a whitelist or blacklist, so you have everything showing up here and nothing showing up under the matching blacklist. But essentially it's the same thing. The person in question said they had about 2,000 programs in their uninstall list, so that is kind of concerning. I can't even think of 2,000 programs that I would have installed on my computer, let alone that I would need to make sure always got uninstalled. So I'm not sure how you would get to that high. Proctor, what does your uninstaller list look like for your shop?
It probably has about 20 different things in the uninstall.
Okay.
2,000 sounds really high.
Yeah, like I was saying, I don't even know of 2,000 programs that I could go out and install right now. So what I would be thinking there is possibly that blacklist isn't using the wildcard style. It's like putting in version numbers for every
Yeah, like something, somebody's toolbar 2008 revision 1 2.5.
Which you could shorten down to just somebody's toolbar, and then it would always uninstall all of those versions. So I had asked to see if we could get it to check out his uninstall definitions and see what they were doing so we could recommend a better route to take, but I don't know if we heard back any more on that, so I'll have to check with Michael on that one. But yeah, so that was it for those, and that is about all I have here. I did find another internet gateway that I might end up checking out sometime this week. It's called ClearOS. Paste the link for that here in the chat as well. So that one is another community version that also has a pay version. It looks kind of interesting. I really will have to set it up before I can say more about it one way or the other. It looks like it has a nice interface, looks like it has some nice options, kind of similar to what Untangle does, as in the way of simplicity, where not as complex as what pfSense does, but I don't think you can do as much as pfSense does, obviously, and the pay things, it's kind of unclear on exactly some of the things they provide. Like, I know for the content filtering, I think they provide pre-populated professional lists. So things like that you can get. Plus, there's some other pay apps that they have, but they generally have most everything that Untangle and pfSense both are able to offer, but just a different interface, different try. So it'd be interesting to be able to try that one out. I'll go ahead and paste the links for the other two that I was just mentioning, Untangle and pfSense. I have used both of those, and they are both great internet gateways and give you a lot of power and performance over your network. pfSense is by far probably the most powerful because you can do most everything with it, and it's all free. But there's just tons and tons of things you have to do to be able to do it. And the reports that I found weren't as nice and pretty looking as I know Untangle's reports are. And the ad blocking, I think, is a little bit more difficult to set up than the ad blocker in Untangle. And I think it's actually, Untangle is probably going to be the easiest if you're trying to block ads across the network, because there is, that's the only one that actually includes like an ad blocker that you basically just turn on and it blocks ads across the network. The other two, I think you have to basically set up and maintain content filter lists so that things get blocked. And while you can find those lists out there, it just is extra steps that Untangle really just doesn't even bother with. So if you're just looking for network-based ad blocking and being able to have reports on everything, it's nice to have everything up there. ComCorrect said he's just noticing IRC will not open in a new window. Even using that new window link, let me double check that, because that should work. Like if you started it with the one that's under the video, you're not going to be able to push that to a new window, but there is a blue link at the top that has join IRC chat in a new window. And you're right, that does not open. Unable to load the web page because server sent no data. That's weird. Embedded one still working. Well, I will have to check into that after the show and see why that's not launching in a new window. Because it should be.
Doesn't work for me either, Brantley. I tried it in Chrome and Firefox.
Yeah, it's something with the server setup, I assume. Let's see. Alright, well, if someone else wants to take it away while they do that.
Oh, I'll take it away, all right.
Okay.
Like Calgon.
Far away. Yes. I'm sorry, I got coding thing going. Notice that.
All right. Well, somebody can pick up something, right?
Throat clearing.
My Raspberry Pi came in
You got a
Friday.
Raspberry
I got
Pi?
all of my stuff. Yeah, haven't had a chance to play with it yet.
Awesome.
Got the same kit that Brantley got.
Cool.
Nice.
What do you hope to do with it, or are you just playing around?
Playing around with it.
Is that tomorrow's show things we got that Brantley had first?
Sounds like it'll be a long show.
Probably.
All right, let's try this now. I wonder if that will work. All right, so the opening in a new window should work. I don't have the daemon set up to start up automatically at the beginning, so I'll have to look more into why that doesn't work. Stupid Linux isn't as easy to start programs up automatically as I thought it would be.
Stupid Linux, did I hear you just say?
Correct, and by that I mean I'm too stupid to know how to start it up as easy as I thought it would.
Okay.
And what I really meant was it wasn't as easy as it is in Windows to set up to do it.
All right.
And Awesome Comp Correct will get back to you once we get some point where we need to do the repair shopper stuff. Do you want to do an update on how your coding is going?
It's awesome.
Is the dUninstaller stuff done so that everything I just went over is obsolete now?
No. No, it is not obsolete yet.
Awesome.
I'm afraid.
Well, I did find one other site while I was out. This site is good for securing and locking down the open SSH server and SSH servers that we talked about last week, although the week before. The one I talked about, though, was a Windows one and is a little bit more locked down, but you can apply some of the same principles that they go over in there. This one is more for if you're setting it up on a straight Linux box and need to go that route. So. And this page is pretty interesting. Let me go to the home here. So when we were talking about the MD5 hashing stuff, I came across this page that is a MD5 and SSH1 hash collision attack tool. And you can use this to, I think, create programs or documents at the least that have the same hash, and you wouldn't be able to tell it because apparently MD5 has been broken since 2008, and SHA1
to duplicate it.
Shortly after.
Yeah, in a file thing. But what about strings? Because that's what we were talking about, is using it in strings.
Well,
because everything we do with files is SHA 256 or AES 256 and with encryption with the zips and stuff too. So.
Well, the encryption stuff is fine with 256 and SSH 2, which I think is 256. The string stuff with MD5s, even Java has a tool built into it. I came across another article that talked about it, and using that as your like key in a program or something, you don't want to do that, because like I think they said lowercase aa gives you the same hash as uppercase.
Well, I mean, it's just like, I mean, but see, the thing is that it doesn't matter what number you used when you're using it in code, because it's a one-way. It's one way, it's one-way data conversion. So it doesn't matter what number you're using when you're using that kind of function in code. You're just pulling that number from something, When
they were talking about using the hash to link to other things. So like, if you gave the program a file and it took the hash of that file and then did something based on that file, you don't want to do that, because at least with MD5 hashing, because there's a possibility that you can give it a file, it'll come up with the same MD5 hash that you're expecting, but it won't be the file that you're expecting it to be.
So you don't want to base whitelists on that, basically, or blacklists.
Yeah.
Actually, whitelists. So blacklist wouldn't matter, I guess, because
the way they were talking about it was using it in maps for keys. I didn't really understand the concept on that, what they were doing with it. Let's see if I can actually find that one again.
Well, and see, the thing is that, but just even just in an action, a blacklist thing. Okay, if someone spoofed and the context is that we're talking about. I mean, if someone spoofs a file, with some rogue code, and they do it with this fake MD5, that would be applicable to a whitelisting application of the thing. So you're right, when we should reconsider anything that we might have considered to do that there. But as far as a blacklisting is concerned, it really doesn't matter. I'm just making the comment on. But yes, with files, then we can fully move to SSH 256. It's not a problem with file stuff. I'm just saying, with the string stuff and and even with some of the file stuff, it really doesn't matter. But
yeah,
with the rest of the stuff, yeah, I can see to do that. So we'll just do it with all the file stuff. I mean, that's not a problem.
I posted the link about that Java thing if you want to see more. If maybe you would understand what they're actually.
But like blacklist detection, for example. So if someone was trying to spoof a known good file, then I guess that would make us and then in turn detect the
known good file.
Let's see, that would be like what Kaspersky did to all the other antivirus software companies, so they could get ahead. You read about that, right?
Yeah.
Where they spoofed a bunch of hashes and files and things like that, and they sent them out there in the wild and to their competitors.
Well, and I think my thing
false
was
positive
that my thing was that you can.
They caused them to crash Windows in a couple cases by causing other antivirus software to crash Windows by spoofing some of this junk. So. Or just implanting poison fake, fake hash defs, and then crafting the file with that and then sending it to them. Their AV department. I'm sorry, go ahead. You read it, but they didn't, so those people out there. So
my thing was like, it's easy. It appears to be like, I don't even really know how that tool works. I haven't been able to put enough computing power behind it to really say one way or the other, and I couldn't find enough documentation when I was looking for it to see what exactly you can use hash collision for. But I know that it does exist, and most of the stuff I was finding was talking about documents. So like, you can have, like, if you're expecting a certain hash on a secure document that you're receiving, so that you know that it wasn't altered in transit, someone else can actually take that document, make minor changes to it, and get the same hash.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So the hash, I see what. Okay.
But what I was thinking is, if MD5 hashing can be broken so easily, then they can easily just re-release it with a different MD5 hash and it goes off. So like they can spoof it with another one. I didn't even take it to where you thought about they spoof it with an actual good file that we may whitelist for some reason type of thing.
Yeah, that's where that was my yeah. I didn't actually think about that at first either, but then I thought about the Kaspersky thing that I read about so not long ago. So.
Well, it looks like
Stay up in
John,
technology.
Yeah. Looks like Johnny's sister had her baby successfully.
Yay!
She just sent me a picture of it, and it looks alive and crying, as babies do. So that is where Johnny is, if anyone's wondering. Her twin sister just had a baby today, so she's in Florida with her.
Awesome.
And I had her take the dog with her, so now I have like a completely quiet house. It's like getting away from kids or something.
Wow.
It's very nice. Somewhat lonely, but still very nice.
I bet.
That's how my house is every day.
And I can see why you weren't able to sleep in the same room as Michael and the Pleases lover over there.
It's hard when you're used to a stone quiet, empty house all the time to have people all of a sudden around and go to sleep.
That is why I've trained myself to be able to fall asleep during anything. I don't even know if I trained myself or if I just always had that gift almost as it is.
I mean, like a vehicle and things, that's different. I can fall asleep whenever if I'm not driving, but you put me, if it's at night and there's noises that shouldn't be there, it's going to keep me awake. I'm a light sleeper anyways.
Does not bother me at all. I can, in fact, have an entire room of people partying and drinking and sleep right through it.
I bet.
Well, passing out's one thing. I can do that. Just going to sleep.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
anymore.
And plus, both Michael and the Pleases prophet both snore a lot. And I do too, but mine don't keep me awake.
Oh man, I left that window open. I put in, or we'll have to talk about that after the show, I guess. Moving on. I do have something else we can do if we want to check that out. Let me set up my connection here, and we can do the security camera with an old laptop set up.
Ooh.
So if you may have an old laptop laying around and it's got a webcam built into it, you don't have anything to do with that laptop anymore, say like my Sony Vios dual core that's sitting back there, I don't exactly have a actual purpose for it at the moment, so it's really just crunching SETI units back there. But what we can do is we can set up a webcam on it, and essentially what you'll need for that is, again, a laptop that you're not, or you can even be doing something with it, honestly. But you'd want to have a laptop and have it have a webcam, and probably have a Dropbox account or an online storage somewhere that you can store things in an off-site setting. So if you have a Dropbox account or OneDrive or Google Drive or any of those would probably work. You just want it to be able to sync to those offline locations. And let me just make sure I got some stuff already ready for us. And go over the setup for that. Alright. So I'll share my screen here, and we're going to be remoting into that laptop that's sitting behind me there. So the first thing you want to get is a program called YawCam if you're on Windows. There's another one for Linux that you can use. I can't remember it right off the top of my head, but I'm sure by later this week I'll have it. So I want to set it up on my ebook again as well. But YawCam is a freeware program, and you can download it. And I'll post the link to the site here in a moment. So that's YawCam, and it's fairly easy setup, fairly easy program to use. Don't think I have my Dropbox set up on this system anymore. So we'll probably just use the OneDrive that's built into Windows 10 now. Yeah, I don't have my Dropbox set up. I did have a Dropbox account that is just for security camera stuff, so that any pictures it took or saved could be sent directly to Dropbox. That way, if someone is breaking into my house and they stole that laptop, you don't want all of your security camera pictures to be on the laptop that they took, because then it would be of no help for you. So what's nice about this one, and it looks like you have to have the latest version of Java. What's nice about this one is you can have it saved to a directory, and then it will, you can have it saved to your Dropbox, for example, and then it will sync automatically to Dropbox. Then you'll just have to access that account if the laptop gets stolen, and you'll more than likely have a close-up picture of their face. You can even set it to start with Windows, so if they happen to start the laptop again and they get logged in, it'll start up and start taking pictures of them and where they are at the time. So as long as it has an internet connection at that point, then it would be uploading them to you. Not just download and not start. There we go. So we'll get this installed and then go over some of the settings for it. Probably would help with that. Pause these SETI units from crunching. So now that we got Java installed, we can go back and install YawCam. And we'll go ahead and launch it here. Alright, so fairly simple program. You just get these two windows when you start off here. And our preview is showing no device selected, so we need to go set up the device. So we pick the device menu from settings, and we can pick out our webcam that's on the Sony. You can also set it up with IP camera if you have an IP-based camera. So there we are. We can see me. Hi. And that gives you a pretty good shot of this room. It gets my back door, so if anyone comes in through the back door, actually looking at it, I kind of want to this other door because no one's coming through this door. So we'll kind of angle it here. Let's see if that updated any. There we go. Back a little bit. And basically what I'm doing here is just trying to get a good angle on what I want to see. So we can see this door, which right now I have it piled with a bunch of junk so no one can get through there. But I also wanted to be able to see this window, so if anyone comes through that window, which is kind of a security risk because you have a AC window unit there that you can just bust out and crawl through that little space. But now we'll have you on video if you do that, so don't try to do that. I got the back door and this door, so if people come in through the rest of the house, be able to see, plus get a fairly good picture quality from there. I normally leave this light on all the time. If we turn this light off, you'll see that not as good picture quality, so you do want to double check your light source and things of that nature. So if you want to have a webcam as your security camera, like at your office or something like that, you would want to make sure that your lighting stays good, because turn the light off, it's not going to be of much help. But so now we got the webcam set up here. You can see it working with my ceiling fan there. So next what we want to do is, let's just go and edit the settings here, see what kind of settings we have. So we'll leave the language as English. It showed my public IP, and you can even have it detecting your public IP, but I would recommend if you're trying to connect to this outside, don't, or do it through a SSH connection. You can have it set up to host as a HTTP site, so you can just log in and it'll set up as a web server on its own, or you can have it straight streaming with JavaScript or Java Applet or MJPEG. I've used the streaming one before. It's kind of nice because you can set up a password on it. Not here, but I think some down here you can. You can also customize the page so it looks a little nicer. But I've used the streaming one before, which is kind of nice, especially if you're in an office and you want to have multiple windows set up. You just need a window for each of the streams you want to watch. You can have it saved straight to an FTP account, so if you have an FTP server, you can do that as well as a Dropbox syncing style, or you can just have it logged straight to a file system. You can have overlays, so you can have a logo on the stream, and same thing for the image. Here's where we can do the startup. You'll note here that it doesn't say startup with Windows, so you would still have to go through and start it up through Windows, and you could probably set it up as a service if you use the Microsoft service thing. What I'm going to do though is start motion detection automatically, because we'll go over setting up the motion detection here in a minute. But that'll make it so that whenever it detects motion, so if someone walks in and walks in view of that, it'll detect it and start taking pictures on a setup amount. We'll show the preview, hide it to the task tray bar at start, and check for new versions. That's all fine. If you have it show if it's offline, you can do that. Here's where you can set up the passwords for streams, so you can have username and passwords. Again, not very good security on this, so I don't recommend opening up ports in your firewall to allow getting to the stream unless you want people voyeurizing on you, because I'm sure this password stuff can easily be broken, and it would just be better to have a SSH connection and either tunnel it or log into the system and look at it directly from your network. You can have announcements and a scheduler so that it goes on and off at certain times. So we only wanted it to detect motion from 8 p.m. until 7 a.m. So like especially in an office setting, if you know people will leave at a certain time or get there at a certain time, you can just have it set so that it automatically records during those times. So that's kind of a nice feature. Then to do the motion detection stuff, you'll come into Window and then Motion Detection. And this is where you get your motion detection window. And I believe we can auto detect sensitivity. So you don't want to be moving, but if you have things that are normally moving, like you may be able to see there, it's detecting the fan and possibly some airwave stuff. So we'll auto detect it. And that kind of set up auto detection so that it hopefully won't be taking into account that fan. But if you are using motion detection, like I said, you will kind of want to make sure it is set to a quiet space room and not be taking pictures just because it's noticing the fan. But you can kind of see me, like when I actually do some motion, it lights up really blue there, so that's kind of what you're looking for. You can adjust the sensitivity level and things like that. All right.
You could also define areas to exclude the ceiling fan.
Oh yeah, that's true. So we could define an area. So we would only want to detect motion in this area. Good eye, Proctor. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, well, I have a security camera up front in my showroom that I have it set to detect just the door opening because there are lots of windows up there, and I don't want it to detect every car going by.
Mm-hmm.
But I want it to detect and record when the door opens.
There we go. And I think it's seeing the shadows and stuff of the lights coming from the ceiling fan shadow stuff. So, all right, but now we got the motion detection settings set up. Then we can do the actions. So we want to have it save a file and have this crazy name, but we want to actually have it saved to our OneDrive. Board, OneDrive. And give it a name. And save it in there. I want to copy this name first. That way it'll give me the date and timestamp, and you can use those infos like that, but this is much easier. There we go. So we're going to save the file. You can select the quality if you want to have a overlay. I normally activate the image array, so it'll save images only within this certain time and up to 5 images. So what this means is that as soon as it detects motion, it's going to take 5 pictures of that motion having been detected. So you'll get kind of a nice little time scale of what motion was and what happened during that time. And we'll just say okay there. So you could also do the same for uploading, having it go to an email. You can even run a program, have it play a sound. So if you have a scary sound you want to have come up, like motion detected, this car is protected by Viper, something like that. Don't sue us, Viper. You can have it play sounds like, hey, get out of my house, something like that. Any cool things like that. We'll go ahead and start it here so you can see what happens. Motion detection's running. You can see with it's not detecting any motion yet, so if we go woo, see if it actually detects that and starts. Not running. Enable you. I'm not sure why that's not starting, so let's try starting it from here. I don't know why it keeps closing out on itself there. Maybe we need to save all those settings, so we're going to close out and go back in. And trailer to motion detection didn't start. Let's enable the log and see if we can figure out why this isn't doing what it's supposed to.
Good news, brother. So
What?
it with the external I'm doing a couple of different things with some compilations of the Kill 'em all executable though. With the not just testing the functionality but testing other things, and one of them is VirusTotal. And the good news is my actual original compiled executable does not have a detection result whatsoever.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But the one where I'm going to release, but the one that I'm actually going to release is detected by Dr. Webb. But that's the only one.
I know their heuristic stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the binary that I would release if it were releasable at the moment, is what I'm saying. And the differences between the two is just my variable names and some other techniques at making my code jumbly.
Morning.
Morning. Who are you mourning?
Oh, sorry, somebody just came into my office.
But making my code jumbly with the intention of protecting encryption keys and the primary the ones used to download the ones that are used to do the other stuff. You know, it's some stuff you got to try and protect in the code, period. And when I apply those protection methods, Dr. Webb basically detects the code. But when I don't apply it, nothing does. And that's actually quite surprising, considering some of the stuff that I'm doing. It's actually very surprising. Because I'm using more techniques and more advanced things that in this code that I didn't even use in D7.2, and it gets detected for some of the for similar functions. I'm doing it actually amazes me, but there's no reason why an application, a legitimate, application that one end user consumer would use to do the things that D7X will do and Kill 'Em All will do, that this program requests of the system, and yet even heuristically it's not being detected as a threat when it basically asks to do more than any app should. Which is crazy, but true. I'm totally done. I'm just rambling. I'm waiting for you
Okay.
to get finished up there.
So I think possibly it may be because I'm in a remote session doing this. So the other thing I forgot was that it does have an option to install it as a service, so you don't have to be logged in. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we'll go ahead and start the service. And we're going to see if logging out and going over to it here will allow it to
it also, since I'm a week out, I'll go ahead and say, if you think it'd be all right, I'll do which I don't see what would be an issue about it. I think it's a good thing, which is why I do it. So after breakfast, I'll come back and do a blog post on the state of the affairs since we're a week past what I said.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a good thing. Let people know.
Yeah. I update that technical thread or something too, with what's going on right now. And we need to update ourselves on it too, so we need to coordinate a time to get together.
Get together on
the state of Kill 'Em All and a few things involving that and integrations and things. Yeah, but I mean,
okay.
Terribly important. A couple things that wouldn't hurt to go ahead and hammer out before the first release.
Good after evening, PhilThex. I think that's about the time it is over there. If I recall from our previous conversations about what time it is here and what time it is there.
Oh yeah.
Good, slightly early evening.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at 6 a.m. it was 1 p.m. So maybe it's still afternoon there. So good day, sir. How about that? Okay with that.
Yeah. It is a good day. Well, that's not bad at all. 3 p.m. Oh. I'm muted. No. Okay. Good. I've also been looking in I haven't had spare time actually, but at the breakfast table and other places, I've been looking at just more speeding up kind of methods of the code execution, and specifically for the array manipulation and the definitions and all that stuff. And I found some things that I didn't know about. Basically, in my language, there's a safety check that's performed each time the array is accessed to ensure that it's that you're not going to access an out of bounds index. And basically, that apparently slows it down quite a bit, especially when you're dealing with large arrays and you're accessing them a lot. So for the purposes of whitelisting and blacklisting with defunct, this is actually going to probably speed up the scanning process just significantly, and the evaluation of the what the results and all that stuff. So that'll be awesome. But this being that I would actually be removing the safety checks and putting in my own. Once it's actually working and working well, then I really only need like one check before I start doing junk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But before a loop or something like that, and then that way it's not like a big hog of resource. Oh, and also the multi-threading. This is another big thing, but I've been looking at two different options for multi-threading. First, was it the Chilcat DLL that we use for some things? Introduced the multi-threading, or the background threading capabilities, and with the background stuff, that is going to be just awesome. But then I started looking at another thing to do for sort of a foreground multi-threading thing without that functionality at all, without the Chilcat at all, just my junk. And it would just be like creating another file and doing some other things, but it wouldn't be executable. It'd be actually be an ActiveX control. But it would be also one that you could use as well for the same purposes in different apps. Any of us could do, of course, use those resources. So things like the file and registry search, the simultaneous file and registry search right now spawns separate executables to do that, and to take the load off of the main executable. And I won't have to do that anymore with this ability, and it would be reusable in the same way by, CryptoPrevent or whatever for whatever purpose. I could do a bunch of anything like that really, but just looking into stuff like that, so that some of the more processor intensive things that the app can do will really be sped up. Not just like the general execution, but the process intensive junk, loops, arrays, and things, and threads. Be kind of awesome, I think. So and people won't even really notice a lot of this stuff because if they're not using the massive whitelist that you have for defunct right now, they wouldn't even notice. Because but yeah, with those things, they should really notice a huge difference, I think. Oh, we have a question in the thing. Saw something when I run Kill 'Em All on Win10, something causes a sign out now. Oh yeah, I do. There's actually a couple of things that can do that. Brantley, you remember the first thing that's on every Windows 10, right? I've already incorporated that into the code in Kill 'Em All and into the new one, so I kind of forgot already what that was. But
It's sihost.exe. You want to add that to your whitelist, and that will take care of your sign out message that you're getting on Windows 10.
Did we blog that or something?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull it up
All
here.
right. As long as we just put it out there, that's cool. Some people will get it. Yeah, there are a couple more things that will take down the the eval versions and the like unactivated versions and versions with the I found out the MAK you know, the MAK server activation, what do they call it? Those and also of course the evaluation that you get with Internet Explorer or Edge for Windows 10. That one that you can download freely from Microsoft at VM. I got yeah, awesome. Yeah. So there's like actually a bunch of those that are also included already with the new version that we're coming out with real soon. Hopefully, it should be well. So, but yeah. But the SI host on a standard, you know, everyday Windows 10 copy, that's the only one that's really gonna cause that.
That's definitely the one you want to whitelist in your kill 'em all whitelist.
Yeah. Yeah, the other stuff is like the stuff that uses a licensing server, MAK keys or something. I'm trying to think of that term right now.
Yeah, I don't think
I know multiple activation key, but you know, it's KMS I think is it. KMS server that would be activated through a KMS server. Those will be killed. Those will be shut down. But awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, he's gonna test that out. I still haven't figured out why this YawCam thing isn't working. It does work, and it is a really good program, so I do still recommend it, but I have to test around a little bit more. That's what happens when you just set things up and don't test it beforehand.
You know if it supports multiple IP cams?
This one does?
I'm asking.
No, well, I just run multiple instances of it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can run multiple instances, so if you wanted to do that. I don't think you'd be able to do multiple service instances, so you just have to make sure they started up inside of Windows. Alright, well, we are past our hour, so if we wanted to stop for the day. Checking out a couple more things on this YawCam, see if I can get it before we have to go. Oh, duh, that's why, because I enabled the scheduler. Oh, silly, silly me. We'll show this off real quick again. So, in the settings, when I was showing off the scheduler, I'd gone through and checked enabled scheduler and left it all disabled. So you actually have to select to enable it. But when I disable that, say okay, things can be automatically enabled right here.
Something bad just came up too. Good. Something bad just came up. I'm going to come down and have breakfast, but it's something that has to be addressed before tomorrow. Unfortunately, our download server on Amazon.com, which hosts our downloads, I unmuted myself. All right. I thought,
Yeah.
man, this is bad. I was just muted, and then now I was like talking to you the whole time, and then you just started talking over me, and I was like, oh crap, I'm muted, and then I'm completely messing this up because then I unmuted it, and I started talking to her like I was muted.
What?
Okay.
No,
So anyway, that's what's going on. I'm sorry. What did you say?
I had seen this morning that when I tried to start up SFX Mini, that I got an error downloading. Is that related to that?
Yeah. Yes, and the ticket's in our ticket system right now. It's in BizOps from Amazon. It's on degraded hardware, so they're bringing it down tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Oh, so that
to replace it, and all data on it is going to be gone. So we need to figure out if that's one of the other hosting, and we'll talk about the details in a little bit. But you need to also look into this while I go have breakfast, and then I'll be back and we'll check into it. Okay.
all right.
But yeah, I got to do something about that today. Sorry about that. I
No worries.
just noticed that.
Well,
The email came in like 30 minutes ago. I've just been ignoring it. So
the download thing I got was something else then, because that's not related to what you just said. And it must be just an older version of the SFX Mini that I have, which possibly is.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it does say in the email that our server may already be unreachable, which is why I want you to go ahead and check into it.
Okay. Which
I'm sure if it was already, we would have heard about it already this morning. But it's not. It can't be good. It can't be. It sounds like a time-sensitive issue. So.
All right.
Not like we can't re-replicate everything, but it would take some time, and so let's do it. All right. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to go have breakfast so I can get back and do this thing.
All right. Well, yeah, we're going to probably end up here anyway. Undertaker did mention in here that with the lockups, he has had antivirus damaged by malware, removed in safe mode, and WhatIsHang helped him in that situation. So awesome deal on that, Undertaker. And we got a security camera set up, and we went over some hash stuff and some internet gateway stuff, and dUninstaller in D72 and standalone, and we went over the WhatIsHang stuff. So we're gonna check on our download server so that we don't have any issues with that tomorrow, apparently, because of Amazon deprecating stuff. That sounds terrible, but
yeah, I know, this is Amazon, right? I'm like, you don't have this on like multiple bits of hardware. What?
Yeah.
Really?
So we'll look into that right now and make sure that doesn't become a problem for everyone. But we'll be back on the air tomorrow at 10 a.m. So join us then. You can join our IRC chat. I normally hang in there all day, every day. So if I happen to catch you, I'll respond back. And if not, you can just hang around there and keep asking, and I'll eventually respond back to you. So otherwise, check us out at foolishit.com/live or www.foolishtechshow.com. And we will be back tomorrow. And hope everyone has a great Monday. and starts off your week wonderfully.
Yeah, man.
See ya, Internet.